Well, Arab leaders have condemned Israel's attacks as an act of war, but there's also mounting criticism of Hamas's tactics from within the Palestinian movement. Some moderate Arab representatives are concerned that the Islamic militants are setting back the prospects for a separate Palestinian state. Sky's Foreign Affairs editor Tim Marshall looks at the divisions within the Palestinian movement.
Between air raids and lulls in the ground fighting, ordinary Gazans emerge. Their goal, survival. They're caught in a war between Hamas and Israel, which is itself part of a wider conflict. These Israeli Arabs know it. They're furious at the scale of suffering, but also at the lack of support for Gaza from the Arab governments. Some in this crowd call the Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak a coward. This anger reflects not just the split in the Arab world, but within Palestinian society.
Unfortunately, there is a split. There is a geographical split. There is a mental split, because Gaza, traditionally, at least over the last 50 years, has been infiltrated by extreme elements of Islamists and radicals, and that's what all Hamas about. And the result is such suffering, which you could see today, and we've been seeing for years in Gaza.
Under Yasser Arafat, the leaders of the Palestinians in both the West Bank and Gaza were from the Fatah party. But following his death and years of Fatah corruption and brutality, the radical Hamas group won elections in Gaza. That left Gaza controlled by Hamas, called a terrorist organisation by the EU, and the West Bank controlled by Fatah, recognised by the outside world as the legitimate representative of all Palestinians. So Hamas, shunned by almost everyone except Iran and Syria, moved to consolidate their grip. In one vicious week of fighting, they forced most of Fatah's gunmen out of Gaza. Many were murdered, some thrown from the top of high buildings. The hatred between the two groups has not abated, and the Palestinian cause has never been so divided. So while there is popular anger at the suffering of ordinary Gazans, not everyone is unhappy at seeing Hamas being hit. The same is true in the Arab world. Many Sunni Arab states, alarmed at the Hamas connection with Shia Iran and at Hamas's Islamist influences, have been muted in their criticism of Israel. But that is in contrast to the popular feeling on the street, where the main concern is not about Hamas or Fatah, but about the growing number of civilian deaths and the plight of ordinary people. Tim Marshall, Sky News, Jerusalem.